All right, let's get right into it. What we're going to look at today is something really personal, a diary from June of 2024. It details the unbelievably difficult recovery from a bone marrow transplant. And that journey was already tough enough, but then, bam, it gets hit with a completely unexpected accident that makes everything so much harder. So where do we start? We're jumping in on day 122. Now, to put that in perspective for you, that's 4 months after the transplant. So we're not at the very beginning of the journey, but what we are witnessing is the start of a brand new and incredibly intense chapter of this whole ordeal. Wow. Just let that sink in. For days, I couldn't even sit down from the pain. Can you even imagine that? The pain is so bad, so all-consuming, that something as basic as sitting down is completely off the table. That's the starting point for this month. That's the reality. So you've got to be asking, right? Where did this horrible pain come from? Well, it all goes back to a single event, a fall on May 20th. And let me tell you, this was no minor slip-up. This was a huge setback, and it kicked off this whole cascade of consequences that pretty much defined the beginning of June. And you can see the domino effect right here. It's just one thing after another. The fall leads to this awful pain in the tailbone. Because of the pain, you can't sleep. And when you can't sleep, what happens? You're hit with this crushing exhaustion, just all the time. But it doesn't even stop there. The stress on the body leads to weight loss, and suddenly there are worries about high blood sugar. It's this vicious, interconnected cycle of misery, all from one fall. Let's just park on that sleep number for a second. 2 to 3 hours a night. That's it, for days. I mean, how can you possibly heal when the pain is so constant, so relentless, that it won't even let you rest? It's just impossible. And here's where you see the physical toll it took. This wasn't just feeling bad. No, this had a real, measurable cost. His weight dropped to 57 kilograms. That's a loss of 1.5 kilos, or about 3.3 pounds, in under 2 weeks. And this is happening at the exact moment his body is screaming out for nutrients and strength to rebuild itself. Just brutal. This whole painful situation wasn't just a bad week that then got better. Oh no. It settled into this relentless, daily pattern. And that's really what the next part of this diary is all about. The daily grind. Just the sheer slog of living with constant pain and zero energy. Every single day was a fight. And this timeline here, it just drives that point home. There are no good days, really. Look at this. Day 123. A short walk actually makes the pain worse. The next day, he tries a longer walk, really pushing himself. But the pain is still there, all day long. By day 127, it's just this ever-present draining feeling. And it's so fragile. Something as simple as noisy neighbors can ruin his sleep and bring the pain roaring back. Even a trip to the pharmacy, something we do without thinking, becomes this huge, exhausting task. In this right here, this quote just nails the mental trap he's in. I'm tired of being in bed, but after a while, I feel the urge to get up. He's totally wiped out, right? He needs to be resting. But at the same time, he's so restless, so sick of being stuck, that he just wants to get up and do something normal, even though he knows it's going to hurt. It's just a classic, frustrating, no-win situation. Okay, but just when you think this whole month is just going to be this miserable grind, the story takes a turn. There's a pivot, a real turning point that offers this little glimmer of hope. It shows us that underneath all that surface-level suffering, something else, something good is happening. And it all comes to a head on day 140. He makes a trip to the transplant center in Alessandria. Now, this might sound routine, but think about it. After weeks of basically being a prisoner in his own home because of pain and fatigue, just making this trip is a big deal. It's a reconnect to the main event, the actual medical recovery. And this, of course, raises the massive question. After weeks of feeling so awful, with everything being dominated by the pain from that fall, what are the tests going to say? Is the real recovery, the transplant itself, also in trouble? Or is it somehow, against all odds, holding on? And here we go, the answer. The news wasn't just good. It was excellent. Look at those numbers. White blood cells, good. Hemoglobin, good. Platelets, good. All the big important markers are looking great. This is absolutely huge. It means that even with all the pain and misery from the fall, the most important thing, the new bone marrow, was working. It was doing its job perfectly. And because those results were so good, things started to happen. Real tangible progress. The doctor comes up with a new plan, and it is a massive step forward. First, they stop the cortisone, the delta-carotene, completely. Gone. Then, they lower the dose of cyclosporin, which is a super powerful anti-rejection drug. You have to understand, these are not minor tweaks. These are major, major milestones in a transplant recovery. But here's where this story gets, well, complicated. And kind of fascinating, really. You'd think, okay, great medical news. The pain is getting better. The struggle must be over, right? Wrong. It's like as one huge problem starts to fade away, another one just slides right in to take its place. And this new problem is a deep, profound kind of tiredness. This really shows the trade-off perfectly. In the first half of the month, the big bad guy was that sharp, debilitating pain in his tailbone. But by the end of June, that pain has mostly faded. But now, the number one enemy is this crushing, overwhelming fatigue. And the worst part? No one seems to know why it's happening. And you can just feel the confusion and frustration in this quote. I can't understand why I'm always so tired. I mean, think about it. The blood tests are excellent. He's eating. Digestion is back to normal. He's resting a ton. Everything on the checklist looks good. So where is this bone-deep exhaustion coming from? It's a complete and totally maddening mystery. And we're not talking about just feeling a bit tired. No way. Look at the reality of this fatigue. A 3.5-kilometer walk? That costs him a 2-hour nap. A quick trip to the supermarket. He has to go lie down in bed afterward to recover. He tries to do something fun, visit a museum, and it's so draining he needs an hour of bed rest. He can't even get through washing his own car. This isn't just tiredness, it's a completely debilitating force. And just to prove the point that this road to recovery is never, ever a straight line, another curveball gets thrown in. He's out for a walk, just 20 minutes in the sun, and bam, a skin reaction. It's just this jarring reminder that his body is completely different now, so sensitive, and that he has to be on guard constantly. So, okay, let's take a step back. When you look at this whole month, what's the big picture? What does this diary really tell us about what recovery looks like? Let's zoom out a bit and think about this journey and what it means for the long road that's still ahead. I think this chart really sums up the whole month perfectly. You see how it starts? Dominated by that huge slice of intense pain. Then that shrinks a bit into lingering pain, but look what happens. This massive slice of overwhelming fatigue just grows and takes over. But the whole time, the whole month, you've got that one constant, steady slice in the background, medical progress. It was always there, even when it didn't feel like it. So I guess the biggest takeaway is this. Recovery isn't about problems just vanishing one day. Not at all. For this entire month, it was about trading one battle for another. It wasn't a smooth, straight line going up. It was more like this difficult negotiation, swapping one kind of suffering for another. And yet, through all of that, look at the mindset that comes out at the end. This final quote just says it all, doesn't it? He's still confident, he's still hopeful, but now that hope is mixed with this really hard-earned patience. It's this deep understanding that when it comes to something this complicated, yeah, everything takes a long time. So this diary, this incredible, honest look at a journey that is anything but a straight line, it kind of leaves us with one final thought, one big question. It really makes you wonder, when recovery is just full of setbacks and trading one problem for another, what does being strong even mean? Maybe strength isn't about not falling down in the first place. Maybe it's about the patience and the resilience that you find in the long, slow, painful process of getting back up again.